Hello and welcome to another Let's Play of the Heart of Obsidian campaign with the Helion League. In the second attempt, where the first mission was successful this time, we still have our party composed of the Flame Shaper with the Companion of Helion upgrade, the Citadel Guard with the Glyph Scribe of Peria Providence, and the Helion Expatriate, who still has his first aid upgrade and the Tactics Double Time, as well as the Adept Shaper for the Melting Touch. And as you can see here, the Helion Expatriate and the Citadel Guard are still wounded from the last game. So, and what is the goal? As previously in my other games, they have to retrieve the MacGuffin, the artifact, and for this, the Flame Shaper is carrying a device to secure the artifact. So far with my experience with this second mission of the Heart of Obsidian campaign, I expect that the Flame Shaper here at the bottom will walk through the lower tunnel, reach here, because the Colossus, even when it's a really beautiful model, still not painted, but this will be one time. Yeah, she will walk most likely the lower tunnel, wait until it's her next turn. I plan on using the Helion Expatriate to use then double time to give her a 6-inch move around here should end, and then using her actions to walk around the Colossus and secure once more the artifact. So with all this said, let's jump right into the first turn, because I already measured some aspects here. And in the strategic phase, the Helion Expatriate will use his artificial class to cast Melting Touch onto himself to get the Burn 1 quality as well as the Ignore Armor. And as you can see here, with 10 inches, it's about 6 inches here. And yeah, how do I do it? Around here. With 4 other inches, we are right up to where this dice is. So the Helion Expatriate spends his first activation and walks right up to here. And looking at the reactive cards of the Golem, I just had to turn it around. Since the Golem is, if it get into the focus, activated model, always uses Protector skill if possible, target of range attack, of melee attack, and target of attack. All of this is not the case. Therefore, the Golem will not reactivate this turn. Next, our Flame Shaper will activate. She will also use a run action. And now here it gets a little bit easier. She could move up to here. But my goal is to only get her within 6 inches, because this mission, as previously, is within darkness. So the darkness rule applies. And this imposes that all models can only see up to their awareness and suffer a penalty of -3 to their rolls if they are outside of half of their awareness to the target. So, since she has an awareness radius of 12 inches, I want to be sure that she's within 6 inches, so that she does not get any penalties in regards of her chain attack, which I try to utilize to make a first strike against the Golem, who has 3 hit points. But before that, the Citadel Guard activates, and again, as you can see here, I pre-measured it. With 8 inches, she can end up around where the die is. Here we are. And I assume that this time, the Protector skill of the Citadel Guard might come in handy to protect the Flame Shaper or even the Helion Expatriate, because here the terrain is quite dense, so there's not so much possibility to maneuver around as it was in previous games. You have seen me playing the Helion League. So next, I think I will begin with the Flame Shaper, who will activate and cast the Ignite spell at the Golem. This time the Golem is a target of a ranged attack. Looking at his reaction, target of a ranged spell attack, dodge and move towards the attacker. Excuse me. So with this, the Flame Shaper has 2 die, the Golem has only 1. The Golem has an agility of 6, so needing 6 or less to dodge, it's a 3. Therefore, the Flame Shaper needs a natural 1s to hit. 2 and 3, great rolls for all 3 die. But not enough for the Flame Shaper to hit the Golem. Therefore, with a speed of 3, 1.5 inch closer towards the Flame Shaper. Let me just double check. Okay, so far still out of range. But this will be corrected immediately, because now the Helion Expatriate will activate. He will walk within 1 inch to get into the reach of his sword. But the Golem with his Fists of Stone has a reach of 0. Therefore, the Stone Golem will not engage the Helion Expatriate. And with this, the Golem will activate, because he is target of a melee attack outside of 0 inches, or no line of sight, but he has line of sight, dodge or move towards the attacker. So once again, the Golem, 6 or less to dodge. It's a 5. The Golem is quite agile for a building of stone. The Helion Expatriate, once again, needing natural 1s. 10 and 16. Not so good this roll. But the Golem now is in base contact with the Helion Expatriate, who will now also get to the engage state. And I immediately will grab another engage state, because now, in the first turn, the Citadel Guard will also activate. And she will walk towards the Golem. As I said, get the engage state, but I learned my lesson. She will not attack. Because last time, offense 13, the Golem, defense 13. It was against an Earth Elemental, but the result was not a good one for the Citadel Guard. So therefore, I will skip her action, actually. And with that said, I will prepare the hostiles turn, and I'll let you join afterwards. In the hostiles first turn, I already moved this gargoyle from this position here, and this gargoyle moved from its position from this tunnel right here. And similar to my previous playthroughs of this game, of this quest, I will allow the Golem and basically the 2 Golems to make an awareness check. So basically agility 6 or below to activate despite against the rules. So therefore the Golem, first activation 6 or less. It's a 17. He is not allowed to activate in his first action. And the second one, it's a natural 1, so he will be allowed at least to move once. And he will use a run action. Yeah, and basically squeezes past the gargoyle 3 inches and 3 other inches. So let him here. Gargoyle, I think actually now I will not allow him to let squeeze past, because the gargoyle activated first. So therefore he will have to stay here behind the gargoyle. And now let's get into interesting. The Golem in its active phase will target the closest enemy, which would be these 2. And despite it normally having a choice which one to attack, it doesn't matter, because the Citadel Guard will use her Protector skill and get the attack nevertheless. And the Helion Expatriate will also activate, and he will try to attack, but a confrontation is between these 2 models. So therefore I think this is the correct way. Actually, I will just have a quick read up, and I notice how much I already used the word actually. I try to avoid it in the future. Let's give me a second. Spells, magic, wounding, confrontation. Confrontation occurs when 2 or more opposing models declare attack action against one another. This can only occur when this happens. The 2 models will fight, each attempting to block incoming strikes and hit advertisers. Only the model that performs 1 or more successful confrontation rolls wins the confrontation. So I read it that way, that the Golem will only enter a confrontation with the model he divides in an attack to. And since the Citadel Guard uses her Protector skill, she will get all the attacks. Therefore, the Heron Expatriate is free to make a snipe shot or snipe strike. So, seeing if he is able to attack with his defense of 13, is he able to hit? With a 4 he is. Since he has still melting touch on himself, he ignores armor, therefore 12 or less to wound the golem. It's a 4. And with this, the Heron Expatriate was able to wound the golem. And now to the confrontation. The golem has 2 strikes with his Fist of Stone, and the Citadel Guard usually only 1, but since she's a sentinel, she has 2. So, the Citadel Guard will begin. Since she's within her awareness of another soldier, her defense is boosted to a defense of 17. It's a 10 and a 15, 2 hits. Therefore, the golem now, with its offense of 10, needs... Actually, 13 and 14 is not enough. I was thinking about if it needs natural 1s 2 hits, because they aren't able to block, because the Citadel Guard rolled 15, but with a 13 and 14, both hits of the Citadel Guard will come through, and since she's using the small bludgeon, she has the armor piercing trait, therefore the armor of 8 is reduced to 4. Her total power of 15 is reduced to 11, 11 or less to wound the golem. 13 and 5. With this, the golem receives an additional wound. And the chain attack ability will not trigger from these 2. This is because the golem is in the active turn and not the Helion League. And chain attack only triggers in the active turn. So, once more, the whole procedure. The Heron Expatriate with a 14 misses. The Citadel Guard sets the lower bar for the confrontation. 4 and 17. The Golem rolls a 12 and a 13, both above its offense value. Therefore, both strikes of the Citadel hit, thanks to her being buffed to a defense of 17. Again, 11 or less. A 9 on the 7. That's enough to destroy the Golem. And make way to potentially continue on. Let me just clean up the board, and I'll prepare the Helion League second turn, and I meet you then. Okay, the second turn of the Helion League begins with the Citadel Guard activated. She moves 1 inch up to here and then 3 inches up to here, getting right into position. Let me just put the token next to her. Next, the Flame Shaper will activate. She will use a walk action to get up to here. And when she's there, she should be within 6 inches, absolutely, of the Gargoyle to use her Ignite ability. The Gargoyle will react by calling a dodge. So a Gargoyle has an agility of 8, I think, yeah, here. And with a 14, the Gargoyle failed to dodge, and now 2 strikes, usually intelligence of 12, within range of another soldier, so therefore we are at 13, and since she's a companion of Heron and counts herself towards the soldier class 2, she's at a total of 14. 8 and 9, both hit. Power of 14 also, and armor of 5 of the Gargoyle, therefore 9 or less to wound. It's a 4 and a 17, therefore the Gargoyle receives 1 wound and is immediately destroyed by the Flame Shaper. That went better than expected. With this, the Heron Expatriate will walk 5 inches up to here. He will actually call a run action to get up to here. So let me just place the token. So, and how do I do it the most smart? I think it is the most it makes the most sense if I start with him, start with the Flame Shaper attacking, and then move in with him, because I was thinking about how I can get a chain attack with him, since he also has the ability. But I think if I walk in with him, make a strike, and then the golem will dodge into base-to-base contact, engage him, and then with her normal attack, the friendly fire rule will apply, and I will try to avoid it. Therefore, the Flame Shaper will activate, attacking the golem, who is also within 6 inches. The golem will also activate and dodge, starting with the golem, who has an agility of 6 or less. It's a 7, therefore it is not enough. The Flame Shaper, 2 ignite strikes. A natural 1 and a 10, both is enough. The natural 1 will ignore armor, but before that, let me just move the golem 1.5 inch closer towards the body, or to be more precise, towards the Flame Shaper. So, armor of 8, the golem reduces the power of 14, therefore the Flame Shaper needs a 6 or less with a normal hit. It's a 17, and with a natural 1, she only needs a 14 or less. It's a natural 2, and with this, let me just grab some wound markers. Maybe the golem will receive a few more, and is into contact. So, next, the Helion Expatriate will activate. He will move up to 1 inch, a little bit closer. And let me just grab the 3 engage tokens, because I'm pretty sure I will need these. And with this, the Helion Expatriate will attack the golem. The golem will react, and the golem will dodge towards the target. With a 9, he fails to dodge, but nevertheless moves into base contact. But before he moves into base contact, the Helion Expatriate is able to make 2 strikes. Offense of 13, 20 and 15, it was to no avail. And now the Citadel Guard's turn. She will activate and walk simply into contact with the golem, and refuses. Well, I'm currently tempted to attack with the offense of 13, but the golem has a defense of 13. No, she will wait. I will play it safe to save the Citadel Guard any pain. And with this, I will just jump right into the hostile's turn. I will not pause the recording. And by the way, the Helion Expatriate, as you might have thought, he once again casted melting touch onto himself to get the ignore armor quality. That's why he went in. So with this, similar as previously, actually let me once again, sorry, I tried to avoid the word for the rest of the recording. Now the gargoyle makes a walk action 5 inches and another walk action 5 inches, and it gets up to here. And now the golem attacks, and the Citadel uses her protector skill to draw all the attention to her. And the Helion Expatriate makes once again a single strike attack. So starting with the Helion Expatriate, a 19 is not enough to hit. The Citadel setting the bar. It's a 14 and a 12. Therefore the golem has to roll natural ones. A 10 and a 18. 18 misses because it's above the offense value. A 10 is cancelled with the 12 and the 14 of the Citadel Guard. 2 hits of the Citadel Guard. And power 15, because of armor piercing, only an armor value of 4 for the golem. 11 or less. A 9 and a 6. 2 hits, 2 wounds, enough to destroy the golem. Since the Colossus, as is defined by the quest rules, it is not allowed to activate. Therefore, I will continue the game. The gargoyle receives her activation tokens, and so do the Helion Expatriate, Citadel Guard, and the Flame Shaper also is in the active role for the 3rd turn. And I will start with the strategic phase, where the Helion Expatriate casts once again Melting Touch onto himself. and he will use a run action to get into contact or 1 inch to the gargoyle. Just to, where do I have them? Here I have them. Engage the gargoyle. The gargoyle's claws have also a reach of 0. Let me get it into focus. I think it is readable enough. Okay. Following this, the Flame Shaper, okay, roughly around here. She's able to walk here. Let me just relocate the tokens. Here we go. If within 6 inches, she will use an ignite action to attack the gargoyle. The gargoyle will try to dodge. Agility of 8. It's a 6, and the Flame Shaper therefore needs natural 1s. 15 and 7, not enough. The gargoyle is allowed to move 2.5 inches. And according to its hostile card, it is closer to the attacker. Therefore, it will move up to here and is still within. Sorry. Yeah, I moved him. Debatable, but I would say it is still within range of the sword of the Heron Expatriate. And since the Flame Shaper failed to hit the gargoyle, I think the Heron Expatriate will activate next. He will this time move into contact with the gargoyle. No, he will stay out of contact. Simply so that the gargoyle is not allowed to attack. Let me read it up. What does it say? Attack, line of sight, outside, dodge, okay. And if it's within, one way or another, it's a dodge action. So therefore, he will get into contact with the gargoyle, simply to make sure that the gargoyle will not dodge away towards the Flame Shaper. The gargoyle with a 15 failed to dodge. The Helion Expatriate 13 or less. 7 and 13 both hit. And now needing one single 12 or less. 2 and a 17. The 2 is enough because of the ignore armor thanks to Melting Touch. And since the gargoyle only has 1 wound, the gargoyle is destroyed. Okay. With this, realize it. Moving 8 inches. The Helion Expatriate is in the way. So still walking the path I mentioned in the intro. First activation and the second activation. Just moving close. So here the Flame Shaper will use her run action 6 inches up to here. And another, let's say 5.5, because I just shaked a little bit towards the goal. And now the Heron Expatriate uses his Ranger class, since he's not engaged, or it actually makes sense to use it, to walk 5 inches closer to the Colossus. The Colossus spends its turn doing nothing. Therefore, I will go straight into the next turn of the Helion League. This is a preparation turn, so I will not make the fuss of allocating activation points. He also moves up to the edge where the Colossus will not activate so far. Colossus activates, Helion League waits up, is waiting since it is not allowed to do anything, since no one so far walked into its chamber. So I just put the token around the wrong way. Here we go. And with this, now the Heron Expatriate uses double time, not double time, tactical search, it was the other one, where up to 3 models with the Helion Allegiance are allowed to make single walk action in their strategic phase, and I use it to bring the Flame Shaper up to here. The Citadel Guard walks up to here, and the Heron Expatriate, who also casts his Molting Touch once again onto himself, walks up to here. Just double checking 1 inch reach of the Hack and Thrash attack of the Colossus, therefore here we are. But as I assumed previously, now, first action, the Flame Shaper will run. Second activation, the Flame Shaper will secure the artifact in her MacGuffin. And the Helion League once again, what means once again, the Helion League wins for their first time the second quest. And yeah, destroyed everything except the Colossus. I will go right into the after action report. As I said in my previous game, I really like this setup. I didn't make the mistake of the Citadel Guard attacking in her active turn. I waited for her to react, which makes her so much more powerful. The Heron Expatriate is still, I think, a really nice all-around model, which is really useful in the offense and in the defense, with offense and defense stats of 13 and the armor of 6 and its mobility. It's really nice. As a Flame Shaper, this game she's the fast piece and fulfilled her task of quickly retrieving the artifact. And once again, sadly, the Colossus was nothing more than just a statue. Hopefully, as soon as I receive more models from the Northern Wind campaign, where I ordered the Earthen Creatures, I will paint all of my Earthen Creatures. This is why she isn't painted currently, because I'm waiting, and then I will do a batch painting. But next time, I will be really curious to see if these 3 have what it takes to enter the Alchemist's mansion and investigate what happened after the Alchemist retrieved the artifact from the party. So, until then, stay healthy and I'll see you.